Insurance here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2. Well, the Houston Texans pick up the fifth-year options on both C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. That's not for this year. That's for the year after. So they have 2 years remaining with both of them, and seemingly going to try to still work out contract extensions. I put plural on that because there's multiple people. I don't believe they're going to try to work out a contract extension with one of those people. The one would be the quarterback in C.J. Stroud. They did what the Miami Dolphins couldn't figure out you're supposed to do, which is, we're not sure about a guy. We have optionality. You pick up a fifth-year option. And then if we're still not sure, guess what? We could franchise him. And unfortunately for the player, they got no choice really in all of this. Smalls, you hate C.J. Stroud.
No, that is so unfair.
Not the person, the player.
That is so unfair.
So did they do the right thing or the wrong thing?
They did absolutely the right thing.
What I said, you've been more critical of C.J. Stroud than anyone anywhere.
I have not been critical of C.J. Stroud. I've simply pointed out the fact that this is a team that was built to win, and the quarterback and his play was a hindrance to them advancing further into the playoffs. Let's not forget the last thing we saw from C.J. Stroud, a 2-game stretch featuring 7 turnovers. He had 5 interceptions. This defense is built to win now. The quarterback's play, since he had that historic rookie season where he was the offensive rookie of the year, has declined year over year. That first year, he was the 5th first-year quarterback to pass for more than 4,000 yards. He hasn't reached that total since. Last year, 3,041 passing yards, which was 19th in the league, 19 touchdowns, which was 22nd in the league, and 8 interceptions. So if I'm the Houston Texans, I don't know about C.J. Stroud. So why am I rushing to go down Tua Road? I'm not. I don't want to make this mistake. I don't want to put myself in a predicament where I commit to someone that I'm unsure about at the most critical position on my football team.
But you could make the argument they shouldn't have even done that. Like, shouldn't have even picked up the fifth-year option. I'm not saying I agree with that argument. I'm saying I'm surprised you're not making that argument because of how down on him you've been.
It's not down on him because he's a talented guy. I'm just concerned that we're not going to see the version of him that we saw his rookie season that they need him to be in order for them to actually win a Super Bowl.
In every passing metric from the 2025 season, he's a top 20 quarterback. You're going to pay him like a top 20 quarterback, and this is the easiest way to do it because you're deferring the long-term decision. You don't have to, which I kind of disagree with Booger McFarland when we were playing that sound when he was coming in. He's like, them picking up the fifth-year option and not.
The Houston Texans have a problem, and it is not a small problem. It is not a maybe we will figure it out in training camp problem. It is a right now, in plain sight, everybody sees it, nobody wants to say it out loud problem. The Texans just picked up the fifth-year options for C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. That sounds like good news. That sounds like a franchise locking up its core. But Chris Canty just said something on ESPN Radio that stopped me cold. He said the Texans did what the Miami Dolphins could not figure out you are supposed to do. He said when you are not sure about a guy, you pick up the fifth-year option. And then if you are still not sure, you franchise him. And unfortunately for the player, they have no choice in any of this. Think about that. The Texans are not extending C.J. Stroud. They are not giving him the mega deal. They are not committing to him as the franchise quarterback for the next 5 years. They are buying time. They are keeping their options open. They are doing the bare minimum to keep him on the roster while they decide if he is actually the guy. And then the conversation gets even more brutal. The host calls out Smalls, who has been critical of Stroud, and asks if the Texans did the right thing. And Smalls responds by pointing out that the last thing we saw from C.J. Stroud was a 2-game stretch featuring 7 turnovers, 5 interceptions. This defense is built to win. The quarterback's play since his historic rookie season has declined year-over-year. That first year, he was the 5th first-year quarterback to pass for more than 4,000 yards. He has not reached that total since. Last year, 3,041 passing yards, which was 19th in the league. 19 touchdowns, which was 22nd in the league. 22nd. Those are not franchise quarterback numbers. Those are not extension numbers. Those are we are not sure numbers. And Smalls said it directly. If I am the Houston Texans, I do not know about C.J. Stroud. So why am I rushing to go down that road? I am not. I do not want to make this mistake. I do not want to put myself in a predicament where I commit to someone that I am unsure about at the most critical position on my football team. That is the truth. The Texans have a Super Bowl caliber defense. They have elite pass rushers in Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. They have a coaching staff that knows how to win. But they do not know if their quarterback can get them over the hump. Because what did we see in the playoffs? 4 interceptions in one game. 7 turnovers over 2 games. The quarterback was the main reason they did not advance further. Not the defense. Not the offensive line. Not the play calling. The quarterback. And now the Texans are doing something that looks smart but actually reveals their true feelings. They picked up the 5th-year option. That means they have him for next year and the year after at almost $26 million. That is cheap for a starting quarterback. But here is the problem. If he has the same season this year that he had last year, then what? Now you have him on the books for 2 more years at $26 million. And you already know he is not the guy. So you are stuck. You are paying above average money for above average production. And in the NFL, above average does not win Super Bowls. The host asks the perfect question. He says give him this year and you will know for sure. But if he has the same year, what do you then know about CJ Stroud for sure? And Smalls answers honestly. He is an above average quarterback. He is a top 20 statistically. Top 20. That is not top 5. That is not top 10. That is top 20. And then the host asks the follow-up that should terrify every Texans fan. He says, so then the Houston Texans going into the 2027 season would be one of the teams that we would now list as could they draft a quarterback in this unbelievable quarterback draft in 2027. And Smalls says yep. And then CJ Stroud becomes a 1-year bridge quarterback. Or he gets traded. A bridge quarterback. For a guy who was the number 2 overall pick. For a guy who looked like a future MVP as a rookie. Now he is a bridge. That is how fast it happens in the NFL. That is how quickly a franchise can go from we have our guy to we are not sure. The Texans are not all in on CJ Stroud. If they were, they would have extended him already. They would have given him the $250 million dollars. Instead, they are waiting. They are watching. They are keeping their options open for the 2027 draft, which is loaded with quarterbacks. Arch Manning, Lena Kaisers, Sam Levitt, Brandon Sorsby. The Texans want to have the flexibility to take one of those guys if Stroud does not take a massive leap forward this season. That is not confidence. That is contingency. So here is my question for you. Do the Texans extend CJ Stroud after this season, or do they draft his replacement in 2027? Drop your take in the comments. Do you agree with Chris Canty and Smalls, or do you think the Texans are doing the right thing by being patient? And if you want more honest breakdowns of what is really happening in the NFL this offseason, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.